Secretary Hickey, you mentioned you did you had an independent reviewer study your process.
I had one years ago with Ida, and I'm repeating it again right now.
So who is that that's doing the independent
I
review?
cannot tell you what the name of the individuals are. We acquired them because they had some experience in doing this with health environments, workers' comp, health environments in the outside
You don't know the name of the firm?
I don't. I'm sorry, but I can provide that to you.
Can you provide, did they give you a report?
They have not yet. They've given me some interim discussion.
It seems as if that you said you had an independent review and they rated you better than what the IG is saying.
Actually, we had an independent review by Ida years ago. This one, they've given me some independent comments, but I haven't gotten a report.
So you don't really
yet.
have an independent evaluation yet. I'm kind of curious about this mail issue. Earlier you said that, or you implied that the mail was destroyed after it had been scanned. That wasn't the impression I got from Miss Rule's testimony. She seemed as if to say that the mail was placed in a box that was too complicated to understand. So that seems like a different story to me. I have a question I'd like to further go into a bit. You know, in 2009, the Inspector General audit uncovered improper shredding of mail in several regional offices, and the VA concurred with several of the IG recommendations back then. But here we are again 5 years later with the same sort of issue. So I guess I have a question, and this relates to many of the IG reports that I've followed up in my committee and my subcommittee on health as well, is that nobody seems to be responsible for following through with the IG reports. Because I never can ever get the name of the individual who's responsible for complying with the IG report, even when the VA concurs. It seems like there would be somebody who's responsible for making that happen, and yet I can never get that happening or find that person's name. So did that occur in 2009, and why did you stop doing the, why did you stop dealing with this? Why are we still dealing with this mail issue 5 years later?
So, Congressman, in 2008, before there was even a records management officer, there is now, actually as a result of that 2008 effort, there is now in every single regional office a records management officer who has that responsibility.
He must not be doing a very good job if Mrs. Rule had to testify about those boxes and you had to react all of a sudden and do something about it, like it was an emergency.
Congressman, I can't answer that question.
Well, that's the problem, because of the fact that, like with Mr. Robinson you mentioned too, that he talked to you, you took it under your interest to solve his problem. Well, the problem is, Ms. Secretary, that you've got 20,000 people working for you. Is every one of them who has a problem going to come to you and then you're going to solve that? I mean, this problem that Mr. Rule spoke of a supervisor who's been firing people and is still there, after apparently providing retribution to people who have been trying to improve the system. You need to have a system where those people are removed, and you need to make it stick, because not everybody can reach you and have you intervene and solve their little problem. You need to have a management that can manage 20,000 people in an effective manner. Now, how are you going to do that?
So Congressman, we have several complaints that we forward to the IG that come directly from our leaders and our staff. They are raised by an employee up a trusted chain of command. The chain of command raises the issue and we forward it over. I will give you by example, and Ms. Halliday mentioned it today, the Baltimore Regional Office mail situation was raised through the chain of command. The IG was called by the chain of command and invited the IG in to go and assess what was going on. We have that happen all the time. I know there are places. I'm very sensitive to the comments I heard specifically by Ms. Rule, but the others as well. We have to have an environment where our employees can...
How are you going to do that? It's not working now.
Congressman, it works in some places, it doesn't work well in others, and where it does not work well, we will address that situation.
I'm out of time, but none of us have any belief that unless something radically changes with the whole system, that there's really going to be some change.